Hey, welcome to One Side of the Coin. I'm Steveo the Gamer, your host. Tonight I have a special guest with me. Probably recognize this guy on one of our previous shows, many that we filmed before in the past. Good old JC Rayner from Haunted Castle Games. He is a card designer for the game. What are you shaking your head no for?
Oh, no, I was like, I'm a card designer?
Are you not? Your name's on most of the cards.
I wish it's on most of the cards.
Not most of the cards. Well, some of the cards, right? So, I mean, but anyway, Mac Attack could not join us this evening. She had told me the show must go on, so she told me to film anyways, right? Unfortunately, she couldn't make it. She had an appointment tonight, so we will see her next week back on the show. So, how's your week been going?
I can't complain. I've survived most uphill battles, so that's always a good thing. I'm surprised it's a lot, like, introducing me as a special guest. It's like I thought I was like part of the fixtures around here,
more or less. Well, I consider a special guest because I mean you're not on the show every week with us, but no, I consider you a special guest, right? I enjoy talking Genesis with you all the time, so got to talk about it with somebody outside of my crazy community in the shenanigans that they've been playing. So, anything new and exciting going on in Genesis?
Some rule updates are the biggest thing right now going on. If you're part of the community, you've probably heard it somewhere. That's all I'm going to say. But like every game, rules are always constantly looked at. If you look at Yu-Gi-Oh!, if you look at Magic, Pokemon, rules always go through updates. So we're no different. Sometimes you guys sit down at the table and say, hey, okay, let's look at this ruling or something else like that, or let's see what we need to implement. This is part of the course.
Part of the course, yeah, for sure. They're on 5.
I believe 5.0 is about to get established, and then they're working on more priorities of abilities, more or less, are the main things that are still being worked on within the rules, but the game still functions in every way, shape, or form that we're used to.
You sit down in the arena, you're basically following the generic rules that you're used to anyways, right? I mean, there's very, very seldom do I see it within my own community any issues or problems, right? As far as ruling,
it'll be like, think of earlier Magic where things were just like everything was playing on the card, like scourged out. There are going to be times going forward where things might have to, even though it's self-explanatory, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty, you'll need a way to factor in how it all works and resolves from there.
Yeah, it's always good to have a set rule. So this upcoming weekend is Origins convention, where the first circuit, number 1 circuit, is going to be held at. So is the 5.0 rule book.
I think they're still on 4.0 because I think 5.0 has not been fully cemented yet.
Okay.
From what I understand, 5.0 is still in a lot of the review phases, along with any updates and that. So I'm pretty sure it's 4.0 they're running 4.0
under. Still, okay. Yeah, I think I was talking to Will. He says there were still some, actually it wasn't Will, it was Yan. He was mentioning that they haven't finalized it all. So questioning whether or not what's going to be in effect for this weekend.
If we are not at 5.0 yet, then we're running off 4.0 at that point. 4.0. As it is, a lot of the first rule book, when you think about it, when you go to 1.0 and whatnot, the game is evolving, and with this evolution, the rules need to evolve as well. And that's what we're running into more and more, especially if we want to go into more design spaces. We need to add into, supplement for those rules. Again, you go back to Magic or Pokemon. You're into a very similar thing. Like, they're always adding in either a new element to the game or whatnot. And when you do add those new elements, you have to have your rule book cover those new elements. Usually within good ground as well.
Awesome. Any predictions? Who's going to come up on top this weekend?
Oh, my goodness. So, I know Kunstil's show is very strong. I'm already getting a head shake here. Kunstil's show is very strong. And so, if anybody's wondering, Yan's on the other side of this computer. He's shaking his head no. It's that whole being able to abuse the action speed abilities where there's that one point in the game where it's like, why are we doing action speed? It's not that great. It's like, I don't know. This guy makes it really good very quickly.
Yep.
Nubia could still be a surprise because the extra draw. If you can get her worn out of aura, though, she will start to falter very quickly. From there, Who do you go into next?
Core.
Core?
I think Core.
Yeah, Core the last championship did show very well.
Yep.
And I think there's been a lot of teching going on with him as well to see what other boundaries they can push with him as a champion. And definitely has the good aura to deal with it as well. So
yeah. Now, recently, Will had discovered a new OTK based around Core, trying to prove once again that Epiphany should be banned. So this deck list, we had talked about it last week. With the word getting out, do you think that this will be a thing?
So what's this new Core OTK that I'm looking at? we keep going to Epiphany, and every time I get an Epiphany conversation, I gotta go home, crack open an adult beverage, and drown my source.
An adult
constantly.
Beverage.
Adult beverage.
His chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk. But this is new to me. So what is this Core doing? And I'm sure I'm going to find a pretty quick counter to it somewhere. What's it dropping?
I need results.
And what's this new Core dropping?
I'm just trying to. I actually haven't played against very much. What's the new Core dropping? The OTK.
Oh, Core OTK? It's Engulfing Rats.
Engulfing Rat's a thing?
Yeah. Engulfing
Yes.
Rat. Engulfing Rat. It's Shadow Plus.
When did Engulfing Rat become a thing? I made that as like a theory, like a war chief theory when you're at desperation to cause you health.
Demon Scrolls and Epiphanies and Teleporters.
Yeah.
Okay, Jordan, you're facing Baz. Yan, you face Gary. Sid, you face Marco.
I'm just shaking my head that Engulfing Rat is actually a
Yeah,
thing.
Engulfing Rat. I was kind of shocked too, right? So it's very interesting. But he's actually making use of Demon Scroll, right?
To get into that desperation, or
No,
To search out the
to search out the Epiphanies. He's using Demon Scroll to search the Epiphany. Yeah.
wow, that's
or any of the other pieces because there's Dark Brand and Teleporter.
Yeah.
As
Is
soon
it-
as you have the
the most Engulfing Wrath. It was meant to be a 4-chi theory at desperation. That's all it was meant for.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And it's become a win slash.
Yeah.
It's become a win
Become
slash.
a win slash. Exactly.
Fair enough.
Yeah. The deck is absolutely disgusting.
So I guess it comes down to do players have the evasion to get out of it?
It doesn't matter. Like he's also running COG, so
Alright,
it stops like
And
any
pressure points.
and pressure point. Yeah. So if you try to get out,
To be running the cogs though on that makeup though of your Epiphanies, your Demon Scrolls, and you're into a lot of high chi. So that's
You
gotta
don't
be a little
need it if
rickety.
You have the Demon Scroll. Because you just switch your spots, you grab out your decks and say you're Cog.
yeah, this deck is stupid good.
You know what's scary?
What?
After how many years? 4 years into this game, when we still have limited card pool, we're still finding shenanigans
Yeah,
that can be done.
well, that's great with the communities expanding and people testing and trying new things, right? So with Epiphany getting hit and not being able to function as well with the other OTKs that we had discovered, right? Now it's like, okay, how do
We find the next best
we go,
engine.
We go to the next best thing, right? So with discovering this, though, I think that it outweighs anything else that has ever been discovered, right? The fact that Demon Scrolls has never ever seen meta play, right? People totally forget about it. Is now being utilized for this OTK.
It still
And
sounds like a high chi engine though.
Yep.
Origins may balance that out very quickly because we're going to see a lot more evasive abilities on a lot of your cards, and that might be the Widowmaker there. So it might have a bit of dominance now, but we can say the same where we were dealing with Nubia. I'd say, hey, I got angels. Once my angels hit the board, you're just done. So we've seen this constant shift of the meta here and there.
Hi, Hassan. Hi, Hunter. Thanks for joining us.
But I think we're here for another discussion today, aren't we?
We are, but I mean, we're kind of gotten a little deep into.
We are
this
getting
one, though.
deep into
We
it.
are. I've gotten deep into this, but it's not like you need to play a lot of. You don't need a lot of teleportation. He's also playing careful consideration too, so which allows him to filter to set up what he's drawing, right? So if he's already got the key components in his hand on the initial draw, or within it would have to be more or less on the initial draw, right? he's searching for those epiphanies, right? So with
Yep.
only being able to play 4, you search for the epiphany, you draw 3, right? You're setting up that boom, that OTK right away.
Now is this happening on turn 1, turn 2, or turn 3? Or not turn round 1, round 2, or round 3 would be the other.
When I faced against it, he
When did it go
eliminated first turn.
First
Boom.
turn?
Yeah, FTK right away. Boom.
Okay. Was that consistent though?
The second round I went first, or when I played. No, actually, I let him go first. I like to play second. I'm trying to recall whether or not I went first or second, but it failed once out of 3 games against him. But watching him play against other players, boom, boom, he's like winning 2-0, 2-0, 2-0.
So
Whether it's within the first or second turn, he's got it.
If it's hitting round 3, I'd be like, okay, there's enough time for you to build a board state. If it's hitting at round 2 and 1, I'd be a little more concerned at that point.
It doesn't matter if you build a board state because teleportation drops you wherever you want to go.
But you can still set the board to how you need it, or you can still put things in position to put him in danger. Because if he's running Demon Scrolls, if he's running Engulfing Wrath, he's paying health to do that with.
Yes.
So he's now putting himself lower and lower and lower. Engulfing Wrath is a cast ability, so it is still 2 damage. It is the 1 health. I think it's 5-4, right? It's 4. I can't remember off the top of my head. So you are looking at how much health are they using to get to that state. And if you can have 1 or 2 just big threats there to whale out a bit of damage or keep around you, you might have something, or turning around and having the swift responses to hit them with, or that might be your best bet. The Engulfing Wrath still is scary though, because it does have that double forward awareness, so it can hit a little better.
But again, it's like meta players have to build now to prevent it.
Yeah.
So you're building an anti-Kun OTK versus the Kun OTK, Core OTK. And we're going to see those are the only 2 decks play, right? I doubt that's going to be the case this weekend at Origins, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. So, but I mean, if somebody was to get their hands on that deck, right, kind of thing, taking it to Origins, right, it's going to come out on top.
The other question that comes down to as well is like, yeah, they're doing this like at let's say round 1, round 2. If you have lead, they're searching for their components. What happens if you unhinge them in that though too? So there's still wild. There's still enough wild cards.
He actually played an unhinged to help. To get his he has unhinged in the deck.
I think there's still enough wild cards out there to again get away from it.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Remember, these are what we call our glass cannons. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of it. Great. I'll go into my Demon Scrolls, get my Cogs up. Great. I'll try to dodge again. If you have 2 usually evasive abilities, there's a good chance you're going to get away from something very quickly.
You basically have to have a handful of Cogs to get out. Chronos to get out.
If you'd have 2, you should be able to, on average. If you have the second evasion, you should avoid most of the damage coming at you at that point.
I don't know how the equip works.
So, I mean, you play the first Chrono, right, to get out. He cogs it. You have a second Chrono, right? So, in response, before the trigger goes off, he's just going to slam all that damage at you.
Fair enough.
So you would have to have 3. Now the odds of drawing 3 Chronos, right? Depending on how many you're playing in the timeline.
And it's not just Chronos; it's all different cards that you might be using as well. So it could be a decoy rabbit. It could be a Chrono. It could be a backflip. It could be sidesteps. It could be. Heck, Oten might be one of the best cards to get out of this because of.
But if he's going first, you can't utilize backflip, right? You can't utilize smoke bomb.
You can utilize Oten, who'd probably be your best bet to get out of it, or sidesteps.
Oten, sidestep, Chrono, or decoy, and that's it.
If I'm paying 6 and he's paying, and the opponent's paying 4 health and 17 to stop a rabbit, what it comes down to is who comes out with the most cards and who comes out with the most resources.
Yeah.
And if you can beat them on that,
you have to have a minimal 3 cards of evasion to get out of it. Your hand.
All these 3 rabbits get have a cluster
If
duck
you
and
have
turn
it,
around.
That's the thing. If you have it, so basically,
or even if you have
it's
2,
like those
even
evasion cards.
2, yeah, you're going to take a fair bit of damage, but you're probably still going to be in a position to get out of it.
I don't know.
Remember, we've seen the glass cannons before. We've seen the rains come. We've seen the rain fall down.
The rain OTK was a lot easier to deal with, right? Because it was very technical. So I mean,
It's the same concept. I draw a ton of cards. The difference was Epiphany was unlimited at that point.
Yeah.
Based on your chi. And try to do the same thing. It comes up every now and again. Do we know Epiphany's a problem? Absolutely.
Yeah, but they were basing it off of her living shadows, right? So it had to be something that's not in the awareness. So stopping it is very easy to summon beside you, right? Kind of thing on your flanks, so she can't get in there, right? So, which is, you know, if you weren't expecting it, it could still be
Devastating.
yes. But for the most part, when we discovered it, it's like, okay, they're playing rain. We know what we got to do, right?
Yeah, we know what we have to do. And I think Core's going to come to the same situation where they're going to figure out, yeah, we just need to do this. Again, the great thing is Core does have like 25 health, I think it is.
Yeah.
So for Core to go play Demon Scrolls, it's not going to hurt. By the time he throws the first Engulfing Wrath, he's at 20. He's probably going to have to throw 3 or 4 more, bring him down to the 16 range. He's still in a situation where if he gets too close to you, he does potentially risk, you know, maybe getting that lost or something as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need a lot more technicality to get out of it over brute strength.
Yeah, Rain also did not have the aura or the health to support
The
way Core does.
Not
right?
the 90 health was not 90 health, 90 aura, and she had like 18 health, so she was a glass cannon on herself. But her base, it was 3. They pump up the damage to 4. And they needed only about 5 cards in hand to start wailing out and taking someone out. So,
but it was easier to evade it.
But think of it this way: yeah, OTK is always going to be a threat in the game because you start with all your resources. I'm always by the fact that if it's happening round 1 constantly, consistently, or even to round 2 very consistently, then it's going to be a problem. I want to make sure there's enough stuff out there to get around it or enough evasion.
Mm-hmm.
So if people can find a way to have evasion, even better. But it's always going to be there. It's going to be how you play the game. And the person who goes in for the OTK shot, if they don't finish you off, you know they're going to be in a bad situation.
Yeah.
It's no different than getting caught in a large stack. And the only person who ever wins that's the person who doesn't get caught up in the temple of that and just plays a few things properly.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. But we got into a pretty heavy discussion about it because we have a newer player in our community, and Sid was last year's champion. He's helping the guy build an angel deck, right? So I started laughing, right? And it's like everybody's got this misconception about how the angel deck is, you know, the top and the best deck, right? And everybody's like so scared of the angel deck, right? So and it's like I got a little heated up, but jokingly, it's like, you know what? It's not, right? It is not. And there are so many ways to get around this angel deck, right? That everybody thinks is by far the best deck to be played, right? Consisting of Stone Protectors, River Knight, and a bunch of angels.
The issue in an angel deck, your best person to play is Nubia. Congratulations. By the time you play your Stone Protector, your River Knight, you're going to have an angel that has, congratulations, like 10, 12 health. It's annoying. The problem is there's going to be stuff coming out soon that is going to be a spot removal. So it'll still have its purposes, but it's not going to be as great. Or your opponent's just going to bounce it back to your hand and then you can cry.
Right.
That's
it's not just bouncing it back to the hand, it's just board wiping too, right? So it's like the argument that I had, it's like everybody forgets Thymus Chaos, right? So Idris, right? So it's always been kind of dangling in the shadows of Nubia, right? As far as being top meta. So I mean, the use of Meteorite right off the top, and I've been pushing go second, right? It's like a lot of players are like, oh, I gotta go first. It's like, yeah, go for it. I let my opponent go first, playing Idris, holding on to a bunch of meteorites, let him drop
your River Knight. Here's your Stone Protector.
Stuff, right?
Here's your angel. Yeah, it has a bunch of health like meteorite. Oh, look,
you got nothing left.
Left. That was 25 plus. Was it 12 for River Knight or 15? 15.
Either or
15. Let's say.
Yeah,
there's 30. There's 40 plus your Stone Protector. Like another 12. You're up to 52. Congratulations, you are a third of your aura already gone.
Yeah, if not more, depending on how many they drop. Right.
Yes.
So 2 angels. There you go. 50 aura right off the top. Right.
Mind you, now you have invested 60 into your double meteor drop. You do win on the card advantage, though, because you do have the extra card in hand.
Yes.
That's where it comes. Well, no, against Nubia, it doesn't matter, but you're in a better card position at that point.
or even Erica, like I was saying, like Erica's got access to purifying wave, right? So I mean, it's there's another good example. So looking at the Erica Blitz deck, right? So nothing wrong with throwing in 3 or 4 purifying waves, right? Just to have them on the back burner.
I think in my times of going into Anja, I've always kept 2, and they're simply there for tech. If my opponent's being a jerk, that's fine. We'll deal with your creatures. Just wipe the board.
Just wipe the board completely. And then it's easier to rebuild on Thymos in Chaos because a lot of their summons are really low.
And they generally have blitz, so it's like, oh great, there goes
a lot of them have.
Oh look, here's my Nene.
Exactly right. So I mean, it's a great counter, which I think because I know Jason Greenberg, he's gotten into Genesis. He's been playing here at the store. He's been playing the blitz deck, right? And he's been doing really well with it, right? And I remember he had asked a question last week on the show in the chat: is blitz broken?
It's powerful.
It is very powerful.
It is powerful. It's probably one of the only reasons why I do well with Malik is because I do have access to that blitz.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a lot of access. I have to really sparse it out.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with Malik.
Yes.
Which, at that note, we should kind of lead into the original topic that we were going to talk about. Malik.
So what's champions are gonna go the way of the dodo come
exactly.
Origins.
So we got into quite the conversation. So last Saturday, we did was it last Saturday? No, this past Saturday we did a draft. I can't remember. It was It was the Saturday before. So I decided to play in our locals, and I built a timeline based around Queerin, I think. I wish I still had the deck. I put it away. No, it's not over there. Anyway.
You mean this thing?
Oh, yeah, there it is. That is the deck, yeah. So I built a timeline and based around Queerin. Queerin, is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know. We'll get Sid for an official pronunciation.
So anyway, because we don't have access to Kato yet, like I know Kato's coming, so I couldn't use them. However, I wanted to build a timeline based around one of the new champions just on our existing card pool. Nothing from Origins coming up because some of the new champions have been released in the Patreon and at last year's championship when they were announced. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to mess around and build a timeline based on it. So I went Axon Thymos, which is the one I'm most excited for, and I decimated, right? Like just and I had to switch decks because, they were getting a little upset the fact that I was using an illegal champion in the tournament, but they all got their wins anyways, regardless. I was just messing around and testing some stuff out. Actually, here, reach over, grab this here a second. So, yeah, it's a Limb, Giant Scorpion, Chronos, and this bad boy was the main VIP, some breaths of Jailara, and I actually used Aura Surge with this one, which was interesting, right? So because it is very Aura heavy, 3 Cheek Kabus, Chrono, I think I already mentioned. And I think that's about it.
So what was the main premise of the deck, if I may ask?
So the Formosan, when he enters the battlefield, does 2 damage right away.
Okay.
So the Elim gives me the draw power.
Okay. But how are we using Queerin here, if I may ask? Like, were we just using the Thymos
Axon? That was it.
Wow.
Because I don't have access to Kato, right? So initially I was going to build this based on Necro, right?
Okay.
But the aura, again, on Necro is really high. So, because, he could pull Necro, he can pull Formosan back. Because Formosan's only a 5 Chi, Necro can pull anything with 5 Chi or less from your memories onto the battlefield, which is the initial concept I had for Kato when he is released, right? But yeah, but her like if I don't want to play the Scorpion, right, or if I don't need the Scorpion, I can discard the Scorpion and I gain the Scorpion's awareness and attack ability. Like it's just she's ridiculously good. Kato, I think, is going to be even better. And there's another one that can allow you to summon on the angles, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal, especially with Necro, right? Necro's going to meet Formosan, and yeah, just so much damage right off the bat.
So the only thing I was thinking with Kareen here was one, can I discard a Zamber Dragon and get its awareness? And two, what has a really, really, really good area attack?
Well, why wouldn't you be able to? You should be able to.
So use the ability, get that awareness, and it's like what has a good area attack ability, and like of like 5 or 6 or something.
Does it not have to be a chain or a summon?
If it has to be a summon to get the ability.
Yeah.
So you'd have to find someone that has an area attack in those colors.
Mm.
But if you could, all you need now is something really good awareness. Like, well, bam.
Yeah. So I mean, you gain his abilities as well. So yeah, you would gain a range or
I know this was played.
a ranged attack.
I think in early testing it was actually tested with, I think it was fatigue, because you drop the fatigue thing. So I like the giant bunny coming out. You could jump back to this, and then you'd get all those fatigue triggers going off if you hit.
Yeah,
the fatigue triggers are now on you.
Yeah.
So it's like your death.
Yeah, right.
But the only problem is it was built as an OTK, and it was still a glass cannon. So you had those 2 evasions. You're like, ha, I'm out of here, and thank you for wasting your hand.
Actually, I was taking a look. Gargantuan Rabbit. I can't wait for that one too. That thing is just a beast, man.
Rabbits are a thing.
Rabbits are a thing. Yeah.
Rabbit tribal.
So did you make that one?
No, that is not me.
That's not your. Okay.
No, I have the line main rabbit. That would be always my rabbit, I guess. So
You gotta give us another rabbit.
No,
more rabbits.
I think I want to say this is Carl's rabbit. I think Lionel's doing the next one.
Lionel's doing the next
I think
rabbit.
Lionel does the next rabbit.
2 more rabbits.
So yeah, we know there's more rabbits coming.
We're gonna get like 2 or 3 in one set of rabbits.
I know there's more rabbits coming. Just please don't hit me with any NDAs on this. But let's go back to what we're discussing.
Yes.
Going the way of the dodo.
Yes, champions. So we're gonna see some. I think personally myself, I think we're gonna see a lot of the OG champions
Go the wayside.
go rest in peace, right?
Let's throw the first one out there. Malik.
I've
been playing Malik since 2019.
I know you're a huge fan of Malik. We have a couple of community members that like Malik a lot, but
30 health, 1 energy reduction, and 80 aura. Gets harder and harder. Mind you, he might get a bit more love because cards are coming down in cost a bit.
Yeah.
So he'll be able to access them, but 30 health is going to be less and less and less of an attraction. And 4 damage at heavy or at the action speed. Yeah, it's nice, but it is still 2 health at the same time, so
hurts him as well, right?
Yes.
Now we've never seen Malik hit the meta scene since Alpha, right? So
well, although in 2019 I nearly shattered your dreams a little bit. There,
a little
it's
bit.
Like, what's this? It's like, yeah, this is what happens when you have access
funny,
to every card.
The funniest thing is though, because ever since we've been drafting Genesis, it's Idris, right? Idris and not so much Nubia because Nubia doesn't stand a chance in draft, but because of the smaller
depending
smaller
on what you get. Now, if you're seeing a lot of Thunderstrucks come up in a draft with a Nubia,
but you're seeing more people going core for draft, right?
That's fair. So when
sorry, not core, Coon for Axon Bellum.
So when this would have been before Rays, I did draft and I actually played Nubia because the Thunderstrucks kept coming around. It's like, why not? She can play them. It is 5 damage and it's an amazing awareness.
Yeah.
And I think only 1 game I lost simply because the person had to balance with Air and Waters. And that was a winner maker for me.
Yeah, we had to balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing there. But Malik is in not a great situation at the moment.
Yeah. So, I mean, anybody who's played against me in a draft, they know right away 100% I'd choose Idris, right?
2 damage from anywhere on the board.
However, a lot of players are switching over to Malik just because of that health, right?
That's fair.
In a draft.
Potentially.
In the meta scene, no.
No, this doesn't, like, again, 30 health. 30 health or 25 health and a lot better aura pool. Yeah. And lose an energy reduction. Yeah, let's take another 45 aura so we can actually do stuff with. So
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it. I think we'll
Yeah.
see him.
he's on life support a little bit.
life support.
He's on life support.
Uh,
Unless we get the some random go ahead. It's like, yeah, you can design champion only cards. Like, then we might be able to do something. But until that happens, probably not.
all right, we'll stay with Thymos Chaos. So, Odara, she hasn't seen anything now. She's not gonna see anything in the future. I don't think. I think we can just more or less kiss her goodbye, right?
She doesn't have a terrible ability.
She's the
She
worst
doesn't-
champion. She's the worst champion in the game. Like you talk to any meta player or competitive player, Odara by far the worst champion in the game.
Just so misunderstood.
Misunderstood.
She's misunderstood.
Like I know Will tries and tries and tries, just like I have tried with Fong, right? So many times, right? And it's just like fails.
I think
single time.
Odara needs to be played similar to a Malik. She needs one good summon with her to send out and start putting pressure.
Yeah.
The only problem is the Thymos Chaos for those two, they don't have good counters to some of the other items out there.
Yeah, unless there's something like specifically that's going to support her coming up in Origins or say invasions in the future or whatnot. I don't think might as well just tuck her in that card box in the back somewhere, right?
Until someone finds something stupid with a random card, like,
Yeah.
hey, she's actually really good. I hate these guys for using engulfing wraths. Shame on all you
Using what?
for engulfing wraths. Shame on all you.
That's you know to me.
2-0 for you.
Yes.
So I guess Idris will be the lone survivor in the Thymos Chaos realm here then after all this.
Think so.
She'll survive the rotation into Origins.
Who? Idris?
Yeah.
Idris, yeah, I think Idris will still have a good standing.
Just she can hit for 2 damage from anywhere. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, bam, you get a fireball. You get a fireball. You all get fireballs.
Fireballs, yeah. So, yeah, I don't think she'll ever be forgotten, and I think she could continue on. And,
Well, the moment you want to bring in like a 1 health summon, you can bring in a 1 health summon like 8 damage, it's for super cheap. It's like the moment you get Idris, like, oh, that's a nice toy. Bam. Not anymore.
yeah, being by far one of the best champions to use for Blitz, and Blitz being so powerful and strong, I don't think it's gonna falter.
So let's move on to
Let's talk about the twins.
so Fong, we're gonna tuck her in the cardboard right now.
No, as much as I don't want to, yes, I've kind of given up a little.
There's
bit
someone
Fong.
who's just going to do it a little,
Yeah.
just a little better.
Yeah, I know. We
Nobody
tried.
does
It's
it better.
better.
We better not do that. We might get
Yeah, right. Yeah.
copyright strike.
No. I mean, I tried like before. Will, I know Will's taken her under his wing. He tried her out a few times, and even Ruben has built a timeline trying to
She's
utilize that 2 energy reduction. However, knowing very well we're going to get a champion coming in Origins that's got a 3 energy reduction.
Oh, I'm not talking
Right?
about 3 energy reduction. I'm talking about the bow and arrow person who's
Yeah,
got that in a better range as well.
better range, but yeah, so the one if anybody plays against Fog, they're screwed.
Yes
Yeah,
and no.
we already know that
Yes
one. We
and
talked
no.
about it. Yeah.
Yes and no.
But anyway, back to Fong. I had it so close that timeline was working like almost beautifully, right? And
Fong falters on the follow-up though for
Yeah.
some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know
like
why.
you had seen it, and I faced you. And the one biggest recommendation that you always told me, it needs a summon. It needs a summon, right? You can't play Fong as a pure 100% aggro, right? She just doesn't.
Throw in a random Ajna Tiger.
Yeah.
A random Ajna Tiger where it's like, great, the round's coming to an end, and you're like, nope, I still get 1 more turn.
Yeah.
And that hits the board, and it can now change the layout.
The percentages on it though, it's
I
just
see you
too
thinking about that.
It's just
I have a deck that does that.
it's too inconsistent because like you splash in 1 or 2 Ajnas or whatever, but you're playing on the heavy bull shots, wind slashes, etc.
And that's fine, but
Chances are,
once she's used
it's a
up that
higher,
hand,
it's a higher chance of milling it for the cost of your aggro, right? So is it really worth having it actually in the time?
And there's not, yeah, you can throw your bolt shots, throw your first, throw your second. The problem is once that hand's gone, you don't have a summon. You're on a top deck consistently.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're going to falter. Why other decks do well? Because they can take a turn. They can use the summons to either delay. What's the other word I want to use? I'm having a moment here. Distract the opponent. They can do that. With it falling the way she is, she can't do that. She can't delay or distract. She is the only target, and your opponent's going to come in at them heavy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
there's
sorry.
no other threat in the arena at the time, right? If she's just jumping around or whatever, trying to get into that position to hit,
Yeah.
right? So
But
there's,
once she's out of cards, she's out of cards, and she doesn't have a summon to do
which
anything.
is where it
Where
failed
she falters.
on the back end.
You need to summon that cost energy.
What about Long?
He's never been
Long
quote unquote a threat, right?
threat, but he still has that 2 health aura gain for exerting himself, and he can make a summon a little bit bigger to keep it from getting killed sooner.
Yeah, but the power level of the timelines are you can easily deal with it, right?
Fair enough.
You can easily deal with it.
Why don't we get Yan over here for a moment? Hey, Yan, come here. We're going to trade out for a moment. We're going to bring Yan in for a moment just to have a discussion. That Steve is going to help some lovely customers here in the store. Come take the hot seat here, Yan, for a moment. So we're going to start back up where we left off. We were talking Long. Does Long survive rotation?
I think he might do. The +2 health is pretty good. In Origins, I think we're gonna see a lot more damage. So him actually, and a lot more summons I feel with more health. So he's gonna always be there. He's always gonna be useful.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue is he has no energy reduction and he has a very small amount of aura. So
So when he runs out of the aura, we're going to end up in a similar situation. Nubia will talk about probably a bit. Yeah, he can throw a bolt shot, but he's throwing those bolt shots at full cost at the end of the day.
yeah, it's so hard to do that and to manage that. And again, like trying as going like big is good on summons. It doesn't give you that activation advantage that going wide does. And I feel like that allows for a more tactical gameplay because if you put again the situation all your eggs in one basket means if it dies then it sets you back a lot.
It's taken a lot of card games where you build Voltron, and that's like, yeah, this is going to go great. And your opponent's like, yeah, I'm just going to do this. I think Voltron's gone. Thank you for using your resources. We'll see you tomorrow.
And I definitely feel like, especially if we're going to gain access to more attack abilities, it's going to be harder and harder to keep those summons on the board, I feel.
So we've covered Long. So there's now the odd child of the bunch. We have Erica.
Yeah.
Does Erica survive rotation? Like, she has the aura to do it at least.
I think so. I think with more long distance, hopefully we have more long distance summons coming in, and we have more ways of being able to dodge. Because again, one of the things that I've always found is that dodging is just a little bit too expensive or energy wise. So if we have kind of cheaper dodges, then I think that she stays in the game longer. She can utilize that 150 a lot more, and so I definitely feel like she's gonna survive rotation. What her deck will look like, I don't know. I have no idea.
So we're doing the Erica discussion now. We got through Long.
Oh,
So we're going to trade Steve-O back.
Yeah,
And Steve.
fair.
Thank you. That was Yan. Thank you,
my
Yan.
little girl. We're talking about my little girl.
See, this is how we do things on the fly. So yeah, we're talking to Erica. Does she survive rotation? Yan's like, yeah, she has the aura to do it. Absolutely.
She does. Yeah.
Who knows what her timeline looks like?
I
though,
think
going in.
I think right now she is one of the most misconceived champions out of all of them. Like, people forget about her. She has the potential of being very, very powerful if you're not paying attention to what she's doing, right? People don't see her as being a threat because of that 18 health. However, that on the back burner, she's got that 150 aura that she can just like
that's some devilish landslides out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and an Anja Tire to finish the job.
Yeah, in the past, like the landslide blitz deck. What else is? What was the other one that I played really heavily with her? Yeah, you purifying wave and just as a summoner, right? Alone using Ajna. She has access to all of Thymo summons.
She can do blitz quite well as well.
What I was saying, the landslide blitz one stands out the best, right, for her. So it's like basically if she's going second, you're dropping purify, clear the board, right?
Sending a blitzer there.
You're leaping up.
Or leaping. Here's the
Landslide.
line. Here's the blitz creature.
Yeah.
If you manage to kill the blitz creature, congratulations. I'm still in the lead. Here comes the next landslide.
Exactly.
I'll bring out my own little friend instead, and they can come in. And
The one issue, like dealing with that low health, the use of like Angel's Embrace or Breath of Jalara, right? Especially if she's playing heavy on the summon side, right? Can bring it back up. However, it's taking away from the timeline, which we know that the game's speed is so fast that do you really want to waste that chi value on health gain, or do you want to use it more for damage, right? So, or summon support kind of thing. So,
I guess it comes down to where you want to end up in the game. So we sometimes say, yeah, health gain, yeah, but they're just going to do the damage. But it's depending on where you want to get to the game. Like some decks want to explode and that, the ODKs, they want that first strike and that, get in there, get it done.
Yeah.
But what happens? You have a way to heal yourself up quicker or whatnot. Do they really? And maybe she's the one's like, yeah, I don't have great health, but I have the defensive abilities. I have the board clearing and the health gain I need to really put the rest of that day.
yeah, she is a prime example too.
What's that protected by faith in? That's is that Vellum?
What's that? Protected by?
Protected by faith. Modifies stacks 5 or
It's Vellum Thymos.
I think it's just Vellum.
Is it just Vellum?
Yeah, I think
So she'll have access to something like that where if she wants to go play, let's go play the stack game instead.
3 or a 1, which you modify, then she takes no damage.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So she'll have access to that as well. If she wants to play the stack game and just be terrible,
Yeah.
she could do that.
Yeah.
So she'll have some options going into Origins by far.
I think so.
Let's go to Vedhis.
Well, let's step back a second. One last.
You still want to talk about Eric?
One last final thought about her though. It's like so when I mentioned Breath of Jalara, like recently we've been discovering, or I've been noticing that my community is discovering that Breath is used more defensively than aggressively, right? Hanging on to it, so when someone is about to take damage and die, play the Breath in defense, right? Because it is at a swift speed. Your summon's going to survive. Might be down, a couple of health or whatever, but also too, she's gaining the life as well, right? So,
and I think
she's a prime example on the strategies of the game.
Where it's good as a defensive mechanism is that your opponent's going to go in hoping for the kill and not have it. Now they got to rethink their battle plan right away.
Yeah.
They're hoping that spot's going to either be open, they can send something somewhere else to go deal with a threat. Now a threat's still on the board, and you have the opportunity to nip at one of their threats in the exchange from there.
Right, exactly.
So let's go to the hits. Let's talk about about Velamaxon.
What?
Velamaxon. That hits, right?
Velamaxon. Oh, yeah.
Nubia survives, does she not?
I think Nubia will continue a little bit further. However, with fatigue coming,
she's going to be at risk.
She's going to be at risk.
Absolutely.
People are going to see it as being a threat. Having to double draw, and if people are playing heavy fatigue decks, she's going to falter.
It's going to keep. Well, she will. Yes, it will keep her in check. I think is where we're really going to come down to. Because we all know what happens to Nubia. You spend all your aura, you spend all your dollars. She wants to go back to a bolt shot now, and that gets really costly very quick.
Yeah. And
the moment she doesn't have aura to play with things, she's like every card she plays, if she can't connect, she's in trouble.
Yeah. So, like, just looking at Bellum alone, so like Wind Slash, Bolt Shot, and that, I think because of fatigue, they're going to be being pulled out of timelines a lot quicker and not being played as aggressively anymore.
Raha. I don't think.
My girl.
Your girl, I think, is definitely going to take a seat back just because.
Not enough aura.
Not enough aura. She has the energy reduction. She has a nice little awareness.
Yeah, the awareness is good.
But we're going to have a champion come out in Thymo's Bellum that's going to probably do things a little better
than her. Yeah.
Just a little bit. So she has.
In fact, she has options, right? Raha. However, I think we haven't seen her since I took her all the way in the 2019 championship. You guys all good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll see you guys later.
The joys of being a shop owner and doing a stream, right?
Yeah, right. That's okay. No worries. What's my train of thought? What was it?
We're talking about Raha having options in that.
The option, the fact that she can either do 2 damage to one target or 1 damage to everything in her awareness, and her awareness is absolutely amazing. Not enough aura, right? To have her continue on.
She'll have.
Unfortunately, I don't think she'll see.
How about Kun?
Oh, she does have the 1 energy reduction.
She does have the 1 energy reduction, but how about Kun?
Kun is going to be
Kun's going to be scary.
Kun right now has been discovered to be by far one of the more powerful.
So going back to
versatile champions.
Going back to a discussion earlier, I remember having conversations like, I want to make this heavy attack. Why are we making heavy attacks? It's like because they cost a little less, but they're not great.
Because they're at action speed.
It's like, but let people fight the way they want. So what ends up happening? We gave our champions a champion that because
twice.
You got heavy attacks. Please, give me more. Just give me all this heavy, not this heavy attack. Give me anything action speed. I'll do action something. Speed, because I get that free movement.
He abuses it like there's no tomorrow, right? 100%.
Uses it like butter.
Yeah, you don't even need Swift. You still have Swifts in the timeline, obviously, but
your stuff like your substrikes, your tsunamis that all become so much more valuable.
Yeah,
to him.
Just him.
Even even Power Punch would have to probably be decent with him.
Yeah,
because again, it's super cheap. It does a nice chunk of damage. It probably would do like all he needs is. Congratulations, here's my 1 cheap technique and it's bam, bam, bam.
Well, I mean, the Power Punch deck that we had seen, it's like basically you're using left hook, right? Left hook. And then
Kun can play Epiphany with it just to combo more.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That's brutal.
I think Kun will continue forward. Definitely, he'll fly with those wings and stay on the arena for quite some time.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Plus, too, he's got the 1 energy reduction, right? Does he not? So, yeah. Decent amount of aura, good size health, and, that extra movement. It's kind of like it was before he came about. Like, people weren't really playing him when he first came out in Rays, but Discovery, right, as the game progresses. I think he's getting as much attention, more so than Nubia, right at this moment.
And the big thing I remember too is that pre-Rays, the change of his ability, because that was originally a trigger ability.
Yes.
If that had never changed to an immediate, he'd probably be the reverse for it. And everybody would probably avoid him like the plague because he would be the easiest person to hit. Because every time he's triggering that ability, he's going to take a hit at that point.
2-0 for Marco.
So we've gone through all of his friends. We got one more group to go after, and that's the Haas. So I guess we should talk the first one here, which would probably be Kendra. And I don't think Kendra's doing anything now, is she?
Kendra? Kendra Control always comes to mind with her, but no.
You don't see a lot of Kendra.
You don't see a lot of Kendra.
Kendra's
again, she's one of those 150 auras. There's not enough health, and she has to be up close to Nurum, right? For her ability to utilize it effectively, you have to be up close. No way of getting in and out really fast unless you're using teleport, right? But then it's
if you can get her up there quicker. If you're not
technical,
if she's not up against Nubia and she can get up there quick enough and get out, she could rip apart someone's thoughts and put them in a top deck situation.
Yeah,
where like, great, that's fine, but then she still needs to summon the Bring beside her as well to actually get any use out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you said her health is rickety.
Really, it's
rickety.
18 health is just too low. Even Rain is 19, which we'll get into in a sec. It's more of a control, but control, it takes too long to set up. It doesn't stand a chance against the majority of the meta decks that are out there right now.
That's it going to Rain. Let's talk Rain. Does she survive into Origins?
No.
Nope.
I don't think so either. I can't see it unless, again, something specifically meant for her to support her, but just Not enough aura, not enough health.
She has one cantrip. Please remember, you can use that ability you can use that ability and then still use Swifts after it before she bounces away. So these are the best way to do that.
Yeah.
People tend to forget about that. They're like, oh, I'll just bounce away. No. Bounce away, throw some stuff down, get out of dodge.
Yeah, because you can respond to the actual living shadows,
Yes.
right? So yeah. So
Because they're not as
yeah. Too low aura, too low health. She's not seeing play anymore since the first championship.
Has she fallen from grace in that at this
Fallen
point?
from grace, I think, more or less.
Can she be reapproached one day to like
Depends
I know her
on what we
aura
get.
I know her aura is terrible, but there's gotta be one or two summons out there that do really, really good for her.
Does she have an energy reduction?
Yeah, energy reduction
She
one.
has one.
She has
That's
a
it,
forward, left, right awareness as well, which is very decent considering.
Yeah, she has an unusual awareness, so she can't be flanked very easily, right? Which is nice, but
I guess from here we go.
with area too much area attacks, such as tsunamis, landslides, etc. Right, bull shots, like you can hit her from a distance without a problem, and she's gonna falter so fast.
How about core? Obviously, I made a mistake in creating engulfing wrath.
Yeah. Well, right now, Core has a lot of attention because of the past championship. He top four, came in second place, and a lot of people are turning towards him. I think because of that, discovering new things. I think he's one of the rising champions. However, with what's to come in Origins, the newer champions, he may not go all the way through.
His ability is still good. There's still I'm thinking some of the cards that we're looking at in our testing environment. That there's some cards that he would absolutely eat up.
He can
Literally,
yeah.
he would eat up because
Literally.
they work with him. But I can't say anything beyond that. But I think he'll survive a little bit into Origins. I think he'll be okay over his counterparts.
Yeah.
His counterparts just don't have enough.
Well, out of Sahas's champions, yeah, I think Core would be the one to go through, but I don't know. It's just people are trying to build up their summons to be a little bit more powerful, a little bit more stronger. So he has to actually utilize resources to bring those summons down. If your opponent's not actually playing those, one health summons on the field, that ability is useless to him, right? Unless he's creating his own. But then once again, gotta go.
Nope.
Okay. Unless he's creating his own, but then again, he's wasting resources just to get that one card draw, right? Whereas, the way that Will's using it in the new OTK, you got Epiphany, right? You're the external sources. So what's the point in even using Core, right? At that point.
So I guess it's time to ban Epiphany then.
Well, we're still,
ban Epiphany.
Hashtag ban Epiphany, yeah. We're starting a petition or getting people to sign it again.
Can we go to Change?
Again.
Can we put this on Change.org and that and get it going?
Again, I mean, how many times have we been trying to do this, right? Yeah, well, if you really want something, you got to go for it, right? Kind of thing. Which is what we really want is for Epiphany to get banned. So I think Will's on the
limit one per deck.
No,
we can do limit one per deck.
Yeah,
I know someone will complain somewhere, but it's like, yeah,
just take it out. Like, just take it out.
We're putting limit one per deck.
We have one ban card. We can have another, right? It is possible. We're steering off top. So I think that's all of them, right?
That is all the.
We have a. Are we supposed to get a storm tonight?
All it's done is rain for the past 4 days. I'm going absolutely mad.
No,
I put a Venus flytrap outside, man. I'm like, yeah, all of a sudden the world will be perfect. It's been rained on for 4 days straight. I'm like, this poor plant's gonna die.
It's not getting his yums, right?
Well, they don't like water.
Look at that sky. It's
It's getting dark out there.
Very.
But anyways, we're getting off topic.
Yeah,
so
we are talking about
those are the 12 champions that are, going into Origins and where we think they're gonna lie at the end of the day, right? Like,
right. Well, each city has their one, right?
Yeah.
One that potentially could make it through, right? So depending on what we get, now we've already been introduced to 4 champions for Origins. we're getting 8 more on top of that, right? So it's like
It's going to be a party, man.
with that many new champions coming into the game, right? It's like people are going to want to experiment. Like, let's test this out, try that out, right, and whatnot. And it's like people going to continue playing those older champions, right? Having that moving forward, right?
And here's the other thing we got to think about as well. Yeah, they may not going into Origin. A lot of them might not survive the rotation. But who's to say we can't format things that to say, hey, we got a classic format. You're only allowed to access your first 12 champions.
Yeah, and I think that's been brought up before. Different formats now as Genesis progresses, and we're going to get more sets, hopefully a lot quicker than the progression we're having at the moment. But once we start seeing more and more champions, taking a step back, it's like, hey, who really enjoyed this era of Genesis, right?
You'll have your blocks. You might have
exactly.
Again, I'll go back. You could have your classic champion format. Here's your original 8, or here's your original 12. But you can play any card from Genesis that matches their timelines and play them. But you have to play with only these 12 original. Yeah.
No. Well, the original is 4.
Well,
4.
But we're talking. All right.
It goes for
Southern Jilara.
It wasn't until the second printing of Alpha that we got
don't
those
even
other 4.
start. The 12 that reside in Southern Jilara, only champions from a certain block per se. And you could see formatting like that, which would be very interesting.
Cool. It'd be really nice.
And that makes there's games that kind of do that.
Look at Yu-Gi-Oh! They got Go format or the different Edison formats and stuff like that. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with Genesis.
Versus 2-player card game will go to a format and say, hey, great, cards from these sets are your legal stuff right now. This is what you can play in the format.
Yeah.
They'll go about and do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And people have to go back.
We should open it up to potentially running different leagues or different events, right, based around those different formats as well.
Absolutely. It's an idea.
Yeah, it is. It is. But anyway, any final thoughts on that?
God, there's a lot we're putting in the back of the card box.
There will be a lot. I think a lot. I mean, you want to break it down card to card kind of thing. It's like so much new stuff coming in Origins, but people are going to forget. People are going to forget what's already existing. So just to prove it with that deck that I had built for the timeline for Axon Thymos, and that was just based off of our existing card pool with a new combination of colors.
And we've said for a long time, Axon Thymos, we're like, we've been doing that.
It's going to, pardon my French, it's going to be some scary shit. I think, big time.
You're going to have a lot of evasion, a lot of techie abilities in there.
Yeah. So, I mean, Phage, right? To be honest, I have no idea how Phage is going to pan out with this. A lot of people are saying they're really excited and looking forward to it. It's something new and interesting, but until we actually see
Phage is going to be the redheaded stepchild, I think, in Origins.
You and your redheaded stepchild.
Black sheep of the family. What term? What term can I safely say on stream without getting us banned anywhere?
Sure.
Redhead stepchild is probably the safest.
Okay.
But yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
Spoiler season's coming up, so hopefully, really, really looking forward to that. To start seeing more of the stuff from Origins that's to come. So. Can't give us anything.
No, but I might go read those tonight, not just to make you jealous.
I want to know. I can't wait. So
it's going to be a large set.
So excited. What's that?
It'll be a fair size set.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, from what we've been told, it's gonna have a lengthy number to the card base.
I'd say around 130 or more. It might be.
Yeah. Well, it kind of needs it, right? Because we're adding in a whole brand new affiliation.
Just remember, Phage is not going to have its. It'll have its first showing, but you won't see the full impact probably till your next set, because that's when you'll start getting more to that card pool.
Yeah.
So it's like when you add anything to a game, like a new element. Sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh might be the best example for this. We put in a new archetype. We put in 4 cards of that archetype. People are like, yeah, it's cool, but I can't do nothing right now. And then the next set or the set later, it's like, oh. All this stuff is here. Now I can do something with it.
Yeah. Right. Well, they also operate off of a heavy ban list too, so I mean that changes things.
But
whereas
I'm saying
we don't have a.
I'm just saying
we got one card ban.
I'm saying the addition.
That second.
I'm saying the addition of a new thing of that is used, and that's the best example I can think of.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. But anyway, Draw your own final thoughts on what we discussed tonight. What do you think? You think we were wrong about some of the champions that aren't going to make it through, or we were right, or you want to have anything else? Be sure to leave a comment in the thing. Like and subscribe to our channel. We broadcast every Thursday evening here at Heads or Tails Gaming for One Side of the Coin. And as I said, next week, Mac Attack will be returning as my co-host. I just want to give a huge thank you to JC for joining me tonight for our discussion. I still think Idris on top.
Yeah, she has to do some damage.
She's going to do some damage. I think so. Yeah, but for now, right? We have our circuit event coming up. Anime North, would you say? We figured it out. 4 or 5 weeks away coming up in July 15th at Anime North, circuit number 2. If you're not going to Origins this weekend, or if you are, I should say, good luck and best of luck to all of our community members that have already left and on their way down there for it. We're rooting for you. It's going to be interesting to see.
It's getting dark out there, man.
It's getting very dark out there. Yeah, it's going to storm here, right? Lights go out, the power goes off. We'll make this really quick. You want to get into Genesis, www.genesisbattleofchampions.com. All the information on how to play the game, rulebook, etc., card database, even the lore if you want to learn the history behind it. Get your LGS involved, have them get in contact with Haunted Castle Gaming on how to get started and build a community based around this awesome game. One that I love so much. I have a huge passion for Genesis. I got a surprise coming out. I don't know if I should spoil it.
Sure.
No, I'll wait. We're in a couple of weeks.
Oh.
2 weeks.
Does it involve
2 weeks or maybe a week?
Probably involves something that it shouldn't be out in the public then. Probably not.
No.
I want to keep working for the company. Don't get me fired.
We're going to have a surprise on One Side of the Coin coming up soon. Maybe next week. Who knows? It's a huge surprise. Something I've been thinking about anyway.
Is it a mystery box?
What's that?
Is it a mystery box?
A mystery box.
You know how everybody loves a mystery box?
What's a mystery?
A mystery box is, it's random stuff that everybody wants. Maybe it has an alpha pack in it or something. You know how we always like alpha packs?
Yeah, everybody likes alpha packs. Do they exist? Right? Outside of, I don't know. Do they? Maybe. I know I still got some beta kicking in there as well. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So thank you to Sid, the man with the brain that created Genesis. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much for giving us Genesis Battle of Champions.
I thought you were going to go man, myth, legend in that order.
Man, myth,
and legend.
And the legend.
He may be at the man part. He's working on the myth.
No, I'm the legend. I'm the legend.
Why are you the legend?
Because that's what I was called at the 2019 championship. I walked into that championship. I haven't even won yet. I walked in and people were like, "Are you Steveo?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're looking at me and they're like, "Oh, you're the legend." I'm like, "What?" It blew my mind. It's like, why?
At least you're saying all good things about you.
Sid started laughing and he's like, "Yeah, these guys talk about you on a regular basis. They all want to know what you're building, what you're, everything that you're doing as far as Genesis and stuff like that." And it's like, by far, I'm not a legend, but anyway, Sid's the man.
So the thank you to the Sid. Let's pick up from there.
Alrighty. Anyway. So be sure, as I said, I think I already said, like and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to join us next week same time for One Side of the Coin. We will see you then.
Hold on, where are we before we sign out?
Oh yes, Heads or Tails Gaming, 131 Erie Ave, Brantford, Ontario. You want to participate? We run our locals for Genesis every Thursday evening and Saturday afternoon. Thursday evening at 6 o'clock. Saturday afternoon at 1 in the afternoon.
I need to start giving you a script, man.
Script. Yeah, I have a little side note here.
As I said before, like, subscribe
to the
channel. Make sure to throw a comment down there. Make sure to throw your opinions out there. Who do you think will survive?
And share the link to our channel as well. People want to learn more about Genesis. And
yeah.
Perfect. All right. So we will see you next week.
I'll see you in the arena.
I love this guy.
I wonder how long I can hold this pose.
I don't know. I have to hit end stream.
Hit it in stream.
I'm not going to hit it.
Just hit it.
I'm not going to hit it.
Hit it.
See you next week, Aslan. Thank you for joining us. See you. Oh, it's still not ended.
Just end it, please. End it.
Do I have to click this button?
Yes,
I want to see how long.